So over the last 4 years since we set up, we've been running initially an annual survey, which last year became a biannual survey, or we do a kind of a mid-year refresh on it. We call it our Teletech survey, so tele for telecoms and tech for technology, and really trying to understand what's going on in the marketplace. And as part of that, it's not just about where people are spending money or what they're buying, it's about what's on the agenda of CIOs, what are they thinking about, what are their challenges, their drivers.
So we saw a very significant catch-up period throughout the 1990s, where competitiveness was strong, and it really was an economy based very significantly on a strong export performance.
That there's an urgent need to address the infrastructure deficit for many reasons, for reasons of competitiveness, for reasons of general economic activity, and clearly for investment.
All data controllers have to comply with all of those principles, regardless of whether or not they're required to be registered. Registration is a form-filling exercise which applies to certain data controllers. If you fill out the form and pay the fee, you've complied with one obligation under the data protection laws. Regardless of whether you have to be registered, all data controllers have to comply with these principles.
I guess if any of you've been in larger companies, there are always old apps that you've moved off. They're really hard to kill. Somebody always wants to hold on to them for, just in case. And you have this server sitting there, actually not doing much, going out of date, don't really want to upgrade it, etc. Move that into your virtual environment. It sits there taking up no resource and no space.
We're in Western Europe. We think of ourselves as a Western European economy. We're the 31st most productive in terms of effectiveness. Now, if you wind that back and say, why is that the case? The World Economic Forum, which these numbers come from, indicated that at a macro level, so macroeconomics, tax, output, GDP, we're 6th or 7th in the world.
Where it came from. VHI's business, broadly speaking, breaks into 3 areas. There are deduction group schemes where the employer would typically deduct the VHI premium and send it into VHI. There's the individual and affinity. Affinity would be trade associations, but they're essentially individual decisions. And the big growth there in the